Today, Onyx will come face to face with some of the cutest and fastest animals in the forest. But can he resist his hunting instincts? The adventure begins before sunrise. It's 6:01 a.m. on a warm summer Saturday in the southern hemisphere, but Onyx has been awake for quite a while. At exactly 5 a.m., he made sure I knew breakfast couldn't wait, or at least that's what he wanted me to believe. The truth is, food is only part of his plan. What he really wants is our morning adventure through the forest. The moment I pick up his harness, everything changes. It's his signal that we're finally going outside. He walks straight to the front door, sits down, and fixes his eyes on me as if asking, "Human, what are you waiting for? We have a forest to explore." The neighbors are still asleep, and the building is wrapped in silence. But Onyx couldn't care less. To him, these peaceful early hours are the best part of the entire day. Every second spent waiting feels like a second wasted when a new adventure is waiting just beyond the door. As soon as we step outside the building, a gentle summer breeze greets us. The air is fresh, the world is quiet, and the day is only beginning to wake up. Onyx pauses for a moment, taking in everything around him. His sharp nose is already collecting countless scents carried by the wind, while his sensitive ears pick up distant birds, rustling leaves, and sounds that most people would never even notice. For a few seconds, he carefully studies the surroundings. Should we go left or right? Every direction promises something new to discover. But in the end, the destination isn't what matters most. For Onyx, the greatest joy is simply being outside, feeling the freedom to explore the world one curious step at a time. The renovation work on our building is still ongoing, but today the construction site is completely quiet. It's the workers' day off, and the peaceful morning belongs to nature once again. High on the rooftop of the neighboring building, we spot a familiar visitor, a hawk. A resident who lives there leaves treats for it every day, and over time the majestic bird has made this place part of its routine. It's amazing how many different birds gather around this neighborhood. Their songs fill the morning air, turning every walk into a small wildlife adventure. Meanwhile, Onyx suddenly stops beside a parked motorcycle. To most people, it's just another vehicle. But to him, it's a treasure chest of mysterious scents. He carefully sniffs every corner, reading invisible stories left behind by people, places, and other animals. For a curious cat like Onyx, every unusual smell is another exciting discovery. Onyx suddenly comes to a stop, looking from one direction to the other. For a moment, he seems completely undecided. Every path offers a new adventure, a different scent, or the chance to spot something unexpected. Should he head toward the trees, where birds are already beginning their morning chorus, or follow the trail filled with unfamiliar smells left behind during the night? It's a difficult decision for such a curious explorer. Every corner of the forest promises something worth investigating. One thing is certain. With Onyx leading the way, There's no such thing as an ordinary walk. Every choice turns into the beginning of a brand new adventure. Seeing Onyx hesitate, I gently use a little trick that usually works. I give a few light tugs on the leash, guiding him toward the forest trail. Of course, convincing such a curious cat isn't always easy. Every parked car seems to hide a brand new mystery. Onyx can't resist stopping to inspect the scents drifting from underneath them, convinced that every smell tells a story waiting to be uncovered. For a few moments, his attention wanders from one interesting discovery to another. But with a little encouragement, he finally remembers where we were headed. Before long, his eyes lock onto the forest once again, and he confidently resumes our journey, eager to discover what new adventures are waiting beneath the trees. Just a few steps later, Onyx makes another familiar stop. Hidden among the sidewalk's edge is his favorite morning snack, a patch of fresh grass he nibbles on almost every day. It's a small ritual that has become part of our walks. After a few careful bites, he seems completely satisfied and ready to continue the adventure, but only for a moment. His attention is quickly captured by another invisible world. With his nose close to the ground, Onyx begins investigating the countless scents left along the sidewalk. Every few feet, he pauses to examine another interesting trail. Most of these aromas were probably left behind by the neighborhood's dogs and cats during their own walks. To us, the sidewalk looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. To Onyx, however, it's like reading today's newspaper. Every scent tells a different story, revealing who passed by, when they were there, and perhaps even where they were headed. For a curious explorer like Onyx, no adventure truly begins until he's read all the morning news. After spending several minutes investigating the fascinating scents along the sidewalk, Onyx finally seems satisfied. The invisible stories have been read, and it's time to focus on something much more exciting. His ears suddenly stand tall. His eyes lock onto the treetops. The morning chorus has begun. The birds are now awake, filling the forest with songs from every direction. In an instant, Onyx's playful curiosity transforms into the focused attention of a natural hunter. Every flutter of wings, every distant chirp, and every movement among the branches captures his full attention. Of course, he has no intention of harming them. Watching, stalking, and imagining the chase are all part of the experience. Deep inside, the instincts of his wild ancestors are still very much alive. For Onyx, the forest has officially opened for business, and the birds have just become the stars of today's adventure. Now, Onyx has only one thing on his mind: the birds. Every step becomes slower and more deliberate. His body lowers slightly, his ears point forward, and his golden eyes remain fixed on every movement among the branches. Even the slightest flutter of wings is enough to hold his complete attention. In moments like these, it's easy to glimpse the instincts that have been passed down through generations of wild cats. Although he's a well-fed house cat, the ancient hunter within him never truly disappeared. The birds, of course, always stay one step ahead. They sing from the safety of the treetops, while Onyx watches with unwavering determination. For him, the chase is part of the adventure, even when the greatest prize is simply the thrill of the hunt. The first sprint ends exactly as expected. With a burst of energy, Onyx charges forward, but the birds react instantly. In a flash, they take flight, disappearing safely into the treetops long before he can get close. Onyx freezes, staring upward without taking his eyes off the canopy. Every branch seems alive with movement. Then the forest erupts with sound. The birds begin calling loudly from above, their sharp cries echoing through the trees. It almost sounds as if they're warning one another. The hunter is here. Stay alert. Meanwhile, Onyx remains perfectly still, studying every shadow and every flutter of feathers. He knows they're out of reach, but that doesn't stop him from believing the next opportunity might be just seconds away. For a determined explorer, hope is always perched on the next branch. Just when we thought the morning couldn't get any more exciting, some familiar visitors appeared. Our little friends, the Marmosets. They move effortlessly through the trees, leaping from branch to branch with incredible speed and balance. Their curiosity is completely fascinated. He watches every movement without blinking. His head tilts from side to side, as if trying to understand what these tiny, agile creatures are doing high above him. For a few magical moments, the forest becomes an open-air theater, and the playful marmosets are the stars of the show. It's impossible to know who is observing whom more closely, the curious cat on the ground, or the tiny monkeys safely watching from the trees. One thing is certain. Every meeting with these little neighbors makes our morning walks even more unforgettable. Whenever the marmosets appear, I become even more alert. Onyx's curiosity quickly turns into intense excitement. His eyes stay locked on every jump, every movement, and every playful chase through the branches. Deep inside, his hunting instincts are telling him that these tiny, fast-moving creatures are worth pursuing. That's exactly why I keep a firm but gentle hold on the leash. Today's adventure is over, but Onyx's story is just getting started. Every walk brings a new surprise, a new animal, and a new challenge. If you don't want to miss the next encounter in the forest, subscribe now and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next adventure with Onyx.